Welcome to the deep dive.
Yeah.
Ever feel like you're sort of stuck on a treadmill? Working really hard, but maybe not getting ahead financially.
Yeah, that feeling is pretty common, I think.
Well, today we're diving into a way of thinking that could, shift that perspective completely, moving from just working for money to, well, having money work for you.
And we're taking inspiration from a classic, right? Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, Poor Dad. That book really got a lot of people thinking differently about wealth.
It really did. What's so interesting is how he uses that contrast, the two dads, to show this fundamental difference in mindset.
It's not just about earning more cash, is it? It's a whole different way of looking at the whole game of money.
Exactly.
Okay.
And just so you know, this isn't going to be just a book review. We're specifically looking at how these core rich dad, poor dad ideas can be applied to the stock market.
Right, for building
Yeah.
actual long-term wealth.
Yeah. So if you're at that point thinking, okay, there's got to be more than just waiting for the next paycheck, then this is definitely for you.
Our mission today, basically, is to pull out those key insights from Kiyosaki and turn them into, well, actionable steps for the stock market.
Okay, so let's jump right in. The book's core is that contrast. Poor dad mindset versus rich dad mindset. How would you break that down?
Well, the poor dad way, as Kiyosaki puts it, is probably the one most of us know best. Go to school, get good grades, find a safe, secure job.
Work hard, climb the ladder, yeah. Focus on the paycheck.
Exactly. Job security is the main goal. But the rich dad approach, it flips that. It's about really understanding how money works and, crucially, how to make it work for you.
Through investments, through owning things that make money?
Assets, yeah.
Yeah.
It's moving away from just relying on your salary, to building other income streams. It's a pretty fundamental shift.
And you can really see how that difference in philosophy would totally change how someone approaches the stock market.
Oh, absolutely. Your whole strategy, your goals,
Yeah.
they'd be completely different depending on which mindset you're operating from.
So someone with that, let's call it the poor dad view, might see the stock market almost like a casino, looking for that quick hit, the fast money.
Yeah, maybe. They're still kind of in that mode of needing to do something active, like constant trading to feel like they're making money.
Whereas the rich dad mindset, that person's probably playing a longer game.
Exactly. They'd be more focused on strategically building a portfolio, assets that actually generate income or grow in value over years, not just days.
Which brings us straight to Kiyosaki's big definitions.
Mhm.
Assets versus liabilities.
Right. Super simple but powerful. An asset puts money in your pocket. A liability takes money out.
Okay, simple enough.
Yeah.
But how do we translate that specifically for someone looking at the stock market? What's an asset there?
Great question. So in the stock market, assets are things like well-researched stocks you plan to hold for the long term, companies you believe in,
Okay.
or ETFs, those exchange-traded funds that give you a piece of lots of different stocks so you're diversified. And maybe the most obvious example, dividend-paying stocks.
Because they literally put cash back into your account, money in your pocket.
Precisely. That's a classic asset in this framework.
Gotcha. So what about liabilities then? In the stock market context, it's not like you're taking out a mortgage to buy stocks usually.
Right. It's a bit more subtle sometimes. But think about, say, spending a ton of money on trading courses you never actually use or finish. That's money out.
Okay, yeah. Wasted resources.
Or getting caught up in hyperactive trading, just churning your account based on FOMO, that fear of missing out.
Yeah.
You rack up fees, maybe you make bad decisions. That takes money out without really building anything.
So those actions, they function like liabilities. They drain your financial energy and capital.
Exactly. The key takeaway here is really to focus your energy and capital on accumulating those things that generate income or reliably grow in value.
Yeah.
The assets.
Right, building that solid foundation, not just chasing every shiny object.
What?
So what are some practical ways someone listening can actually start accumulating these asset-style investments?
Well, there are a few good strategies. SIP's systematic investment plans are great. You invest set amount regularly, maybe monthly.
Takes the emotion out of it, averages your costs.
Precisely. Builds discipline. Then there's index investing, often through those low-cost ETFs we mentioned. You're basically buying the whole market, or a big slice of it.
Okay.
Great for long-term growth and diversification, and of course, picking individual stocks. But doing it with a rich dad view means focusing on fundamentally strong companies, doing your homework, and planning to hold for, say, 5-10 years or more. Investing, not just speculating.
Now, Kiyosaki puts a huge emphasis on financial education, doesn't he? It's not just about throwing money at assets blindly.
Oh, absolutely not. He really warns against just chasing quick wins, which you see a lot with, very short-term trading strategies.
Right.
True, lasting financial freedom, he argues, it's built on really understanding money. You need to grasp how it flows in your own life, sure, but also in businesses, in the economy.
And understanding things like compound interest. That seems absolutely critical if you want your money to actually work for you over time.
It's fundamental. I mean, seeing how your returns start generating their own returns, that's the engine of long-term wealth building. That's the rich dad way.
Yeah.
And just as important is understanding inflation. How the value of your cash savings can just slowly erode if your money isn't growing faster than prices are rising.
So investing in your own financial literacy, learning about market cycles, maybe some basic economics, risk management, it's actually applying the principle, right? Learn how money works.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
investing in your ability to make smarter decisions about your assets. It empowers you.
Okay, so you understand the game, you're focused on assets. Now, a big part of the Rich Dad promise is building passive income. How does the stock market fit into that?
The stock market offers, well, several ways to generate income that isn't directly tied to your time. The most straightforward is probably dividend stocks.
Right, companies sharing your profits with you.
Yep. Regular cash payments. Then, a bit more advanced, you have strategies like selling covered calls on stocks you already own. That can generate income too, though it takes more learning.
Sure, options can get complicated.
They can. And then there's just the long-term growth, the capital appreciation.
Hmm.
While it's not cash in your hand month to month, your actual wealth is growing, hopefully significantly, without you having to constantly punch a clock for it.
That sounds great, obviously.
Yeah.
Earning without actively trading your time. So for someone just starting, wanting to build that kind of passive income via stocks, what's your advice?
I'd say the key things are start small, don't feel like you need a fortune, and be consistent. Consistency is huge.
Mm.
Focus on companies or funds you actually understand. Do a bit of research. Don't just chase tips. And crucially, if you get dividends, reinvest them, especially early on.
Let that compounding effect really kick in.
Exactly. That accelerates the growth of your passive income stream significantly over time.
Now, let's talk about the rat race. That phrase Kiyosaki uses, that feeling of just working harder and harder to basically stay afloat financially. It feels overwhelming for a lot of people.
It does. It's a very common feeling.
How can embracing these rich dad ideas using the stock market offer a genuine way out, or at least a path towards it?
Well, it starts by recognizing that if your only income source is your job, then your time is directly one-to-one tied to your earnings. Stop working, income stops.
Right.
Investing, though, offers the potential for your money to make more money. It starts to decouple your income from the hours you physically work.
So gradually you become reliant on just the salary.
That's the goal. As your assets grow, as they hopefully start generating more income, you gain more financial flexibility. Maybe you can cut back hours, maybe pursue something else. You gain choices. That's the freedom aspect.
Okay, so for someone listening who feels stuck in that cycle right now, what are some really practical first steps they could take, inspired by this whole approach?
I think the absolute first step, honestly, is just getting clarity. Track your expenses. Know where your money is actually going. It sounds basic, but so many people don't really know.
You can't manage what you don't measure.
Exactly. Then create a budget, but a budget that intentionally carves out some amount, even a small amount, specifically for investing. Prioritize it.
Make it a non-negotiable bill almost.
Kind of, yeah. And automate it if you can. Set up that automatic monthly transfer to your investment account. It just happens. Takes the willpower out of it each month.
Good tip.
And one more thing, if you are doing any active trading, maybe you make some profits sometimes. Resist that temptation to immediately spend it all on, I don't know, a fancy dinner or gadget. Consciously decide to funnel at least a portion of those trading gains into building that long-term wealth-generating portfolio.
Yeah.
Use short-term wins to fuel long-term freedom.
So it's about making that deliberate choice.
Yeah.
Prioritize building future wealth over just spending it now.
That's really the essence of it. And, ultimately, the core message from Rich Dad, Poor Dad, especially when we apply it like this to the stock market, it isn't about flashy cars or big houses to impress people.
It's about freedom.
It's about genuine financial freedom, having control over your time, having choices, living life more on your own terms.
Okay, so let's try and summarize the key actions for someone listening. First, shift your mindset, right? Focus on making money work for you, not just working for money.
Definitely. Then actively seek out and invest in assets, specifically in the stock market context, things that generate income or grow long term.
And keep learning. Continuously invest in your own financial education so you can make smarter decisions.
Absolutely critical. And prioritize that long term growth. See investing as a path to potentially breaking free from that paycheck to paycheck cycle, not just a way to gamble for quick profits.
Right. Adopt that rich dad perspective.
And maybe the most encouraging final thought is you really don't need to start big. Consistency over time is way more powerful than starting with a huge lump sum.
So start small, stay consistent.
And just let your investments grow. Let compounding do its thing. Let your assets work for you, even when you're sleeping or doing something else entirely.
That is a really empowering way to think about it. So maybe as you go about your day, think about how these ideas connect with your own financial situation. What's one small step you could take, maybe even today, to start integrating this rich dad mindset into how you approach your money and the stock market?
Yeah, just something to chew on.
Definitely. Well, thanks for taking this deep dive with us today.